Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 29 of Daily Habit. I hope you're having a great morning. Make it a great day. Today, I read this before we're about to get started, and I think it's wonderful. So it's called Making a Difference. Yesterday, we talked about change, and so today we're talking about the concept of making a difference. So I hope you enjoy it. I think it's a wonderful story. So let's go ahead and get started. It's not the things we get, but the hearts we touch that will determine our success in life. Making a difference in the lives of others is what the dash is all about. In the end, however, the significance of our life will be determined by the choices we make. We can choose positive over negative, smiles over frowns, giving over taking, and love over hate. It is only when we take responsibility for our choices that we begin to realize we truly are the masters of our fate. Only then will our lives begin to change for the better. One of the most powerful stories about choices that I've ever read was written by Lance Wubbles in the book we wrote together, To a Child. Love is spelled Time. In January of 2003, I sent the title to Lance as a possible gift book idea. 3 days later, he wrote this story for the introduction. In the faint light of the attic, an old man, tall and stooped, bent his great frame and made his way to a stack of boxes that sat near one of the little half windows. Brushing aside a wisp of cobwebs, he tilted the top box toward the light and began to carefully lift out one old photograph album after another. Eyes once bright but now dim searched longingly for the source that had drawn him here. It began with the fond recollection of the love of his life, long gone, and somewhere in these albums was a photo of her he hoped to rediscover. Silent as a mouse, he patiently opened the long-buried treasures and soon was lost in a sea of memories. Although his world had not stopped spinning when his wife left it, the past was more alive in his heart than his present aloneness. Setting aside one of the dusty albums, he pulled from the box what appeared to be a journal from his grown son's childhood. He could not recall ever having seen it before, or that his son had ever kept a journal. Why did Elizabeth always save the children's old junk? He wondered, shaking his white head. Opening the yellowed pages, he glanced over a short entry, and his lips curved in an unconscious smile. Even his eyes brightened as he read the words that spoke clear and sweet to his soul. It was the voice of the little boy who had grown up far too fast in this very house, and whose voice had grown fainter and fainter over the years. In the utter silence of the attic, the words of a guileless 6-year-old worked their magic and carried the old man back to a time almost totally forgotten. Entry after entry stirred a sentimental hunger in his heart, like the longing a gardener feels in the winter for the fragrance of spring flowers. But it was accompanied by the painful memory that his son's simple recollections of those days were far different from his own. But how different? Reminded that he had kept a daily journal of his business activities over the years, he closed his son's journal and turned to leave, having forgotten the cherished photo that originally triggered his search. Hunched over to keep from bumping his head on the rafters, the old man stepped to the wooden stairway and made his descent, then headed down a carpeted stairway that led to the den. Opening a glass cabinet door, he reached in and pulled out an old business journal. Turning, he sat down at his desk and placed the two journals beside each other. His was leather-bound and engraved neatly with his name in gold, while his son's was tattered and the name Jimmy had been nearly scuffed from its surface. He ran a long, skinny finger over the letters as though he could restore what had been worn away with time and use. As he opened his journal, the old man's eyes fell upon an inscription that stood out because it was so brief in comparison to other days. In his own neat handwriting were these words: "Wasted the whole day fishing with Jimmy. Didn't catch a thing." With a deep sigh and a shaking hand, he took Jimmy's journal and found the boy's entry for the same day, June 4th. Large scrawling letters pressed deeply into the paper read, "Went fishing with my dad. Best day of my life." You may have heard it before, but it bears repeating. Someone once said, "I've never known anyone who on their deathbed said, 'I wish I had spent more time at the office.'" Our dash is a fleeting moment in time, and what we do with it is up to us. The quote on the priorities print from Successories says it all. 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the sort of house I lived in, or the kind of car I drove. But the world may be different because I was important in the life of a child. I think that's right. I think that's what it's all about, right? You have to find the balance. It can't be all about one thing or the other. There are goals we have to have. There are things we have to do, obviously, so that we can be set up for things that we need later in our life because we're not able to work. But we shouldn't be so focused on the accumulation of objects while also not taking care of the people that we interact with in our life, the people that we love, the people that love us. It should be a balance. It's hard. It's easily said than done, I think, is often what we say, but it is a strong reminder that you have to be aware of your impact. Your attitude determines ultimately so much. Even your viewpoint. For one, the father, what a waste of my day, didn't catch anything. But the son, best day of his life. Very powerful in my mind. I'm not going to get too much into it. I think what was said makes a lot of sense. I hope it touched you like it touched me. You know, being a son, obviously. I think there's a lot to be said there. Being a father, having similar issues, being too busy, maybe not being as connected as I need to be at times. It's a strong reminder. I hope you're having a great week. This is Wednesday. The days go faster and faster, it seems. God is in your corner. God bless. Make it a great day, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Thanks.